So second review for this week is for Uprooting by Suzie Carr. If you want to check out my Goodreads review, I did just post that the other day. So if you're on Facebook or on my blog, there's a link within the post. And if you're on YouTube, then there is a link in the description below. And this is the video review. So Uprooting by Suzie Carr. Oh, this is my first Suzie Carr and it won't be my last, I can assure you. It was so emotional, so beautiful. And it really, even though it had a dark element, and it did, somehow Suzie managed to make it so light and beautiful. I have no idea how she did that, but it really made the story so emotional. It's basically the story of Harper Ray. I'm going to call her by her full name because I love it. I think it's such a beautiful, what a beautiful name for a character. And she's had such a difficult and sad life, I think, when you get to know her as a character. But she's a survivor and she tries to fight for her happiness and her dream of being a musician. And she's never really letting go of that, but she's a realist. But she plays a little gig after heading back home. And she meets Ivy, who offers her the chance to get her life back on track with some work, a place to stay, all the things that Harper needs, and most importantly, friendship. And that's again something that Harper needs. And Harper's quite taken with Ivy, and while sort of rebuilding her life, which she thoroughly deserves, and overcoming past sort of fears and future obstacles, her and Ivy, they strike up this friendship. It's quite unlikely, but it has the potential for so much more, and that's so obvious to you as the reader. And the two of them are tiptoeing around each other. And even, you know, maybe Harper could get happiness and fulfillment that she's always dreamed of with Ivy, but it's not without its angst and obstacles, obviously, because that wouldn't be a very good romance if it just all fell in her lap, especially for someone like Harper. So this was just, like, honestly so beautiful. Suzie's created a very moving and emotional, deep story, and like I say, it has got darkness, it's tinged with it, but there's just the way that Suzie injects positivity into the story that you don't forget the darkness. You know it's there, it's lingering, it's right there, but somehow that injection of positivity from Suzie's writing style makes you forget that it's there. But you're unconsciously aware in the back of your mind that it's there. It's hanging over the story. And my heart was just filled with so much hope, and I was so empathetic for Harper, and the whole story just had heart and soul. It was one of those real tearjerkers, and I was just completely overwhelmed with just, you know, the hope. And it was a little bit of hope as well. It wasn't even oodles of it, but it was just that Harper, she just got what she dreamed of, and then so much more than she dreamed of. And this was, like I say, the first story I've read by Suzie Carr, but it really, you know, it really hit me that Suzie has a really beautiful way of bringing what should be a really depressing story to life with positivity and light, and creating an emotional but heartwarming and heartfelt story. And it was just amazing. Like, I can't even describe this. You're going to read it and you'll know what I'm saying. But I was completely overwhelmed with the sadness for Harper and her sister and everything they've been through, but also Ivy as well, because although Ivy hasn't had this, I'm going to call it, damning past that Harper's had, Ivy's vulnerable and you know, insecure, and they're both like that. Both Harper and Ivy are like that, but they were fighters, and I loved that about them. They kept picking themselves up and getting on and trying to make things work, and it was just truly beautiful experiencing their story, both individually and together, and how they could help one another in healing, you know, past wounds. And that was again really beautiful. But it was just a great story, and you get, you know, it really gets you feeling something. It gets you feeling hopeful, and it's really healing in its morals as well for you to read as a person. You'll learn a lot from Harper and Ivy, their story, their backgrounds, everything. You will definitely get something out of it, just as Harper and Ivy did. You will definitely have an experience, and I truly love this story, and for me it's a must read. If you haven't read anything by Suzie Carr, start here. It's absolutely beautiful, and I can't recommend it enough. You'll literally be emotionally moved, and you'll be completely in love with Harper's spirit. You'll cry loads, but it's really therapeutic crying. I cried so much. I felt such an emotional connection to this, and there were certain chapters where I was just literally bawling my eyes out. And it was not because they were overly sad, but they were just really beautifully portrayed and put together and told and, you know, communicated to me as a reader through the characters, through Harper and Ivy and their spirit and everything that surrounded them. And Harper just never gave up, and I loved that theme, that moral behind the story, that she never gave up. She hit rock bottom so many times, and every time picked herself up, dusted herself off, tried to move on, tried to forget anything haunting her from the past. And it, like I say, it held a lot of life lessons, and I think it will for you as a reader. It really was a beautiful story. I'm so glad that I got a chance to read it. I hope you will give it a go as well. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Uprooting by Suzie Carr. Like I say, it's so beautiful, so moving. If you're not emotionally moved, I'm worried. If you've read Uprooting by Suzie Carr, please let me know what you thought of it. Come and have a chat about it. Comment below. If you haven't read it yet, but it's on your to be read list, you're interested in reading it, or you've listened to this review and you're now really interested in going grabbing a copy, I hope you will, and I hope you enjoy it, and I really hope you get something out of it, because the morals and the lessons to be learned from it, I say, they're absolutely beautiful, and you will be moved. Well, I hope you will be moved, because it really is a lovely story. So I hope if you do grab yourselves a copy that you have a great time reading it, and that you really enjoy it and fall in love with the characters. Bye!